Coach Matt Zimmerman, who now joins us on the program, who grew up about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes or so from my uncle and mom. Coach, good morning. Thanks for making some time for us, man.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine, Coach.
Sounds like we're on the Bluetooth. Sounds like you got both hands on the wheel, and we're on the speakerphone.
Yeah, usually I try not to do any of these on that, but I'm just rolling right into work. I'm going to be there in about 3 minutes, so I'll be able to get off.
Yeah,
but
being safe. That's
but
good.
no, hey, I'm glad you were in St. Vincent last night. That makes me feel like I'm a little bit closer to home.
It's always good to go back and get up to the farm, see Mamaw and doing all that. And Coach, I know one of the things early on that my uncle, my grandma, and so many others above me taught was just the importance of Arkansas, the importance of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I know that that logo means just as much to you as it does to me. When my grandpa was a spotter. When you're in the midst of a big-time game like you were against Ole Miss, like you were 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago against Mississippi State, how difficult is it to focus and help out Chuck and Quinn when the game's as crazy as it has been the last couple of weeks?
Well, it's been something I've had to learn, from last year on because I was a basketball coach. I wasn't a football coach, and I had to learn a lot about things and then not getting caught up in the game as a Razorback fan because I have to kind of block that out a lot. Now you get happy, you get excited over big plays, and I know everybody was giving me a hard time for clapping during the Mississippi State game. I was just happy to see us making some great plays, and you do get excited, but the main thing is, it doesn't look good for Chuck or Quinn if the wrong numbers pointed to her. I think somebody did something and they didn't. It wasn't that person. And sometimes I don't. I can't.
Coach, finish your thoughts. Sorry about that. We got disconnected for a sec. So you were just talking about just the not being a football coach, having to adjust to that, making sure that you give Quinn and Chuck the accurate information.
Yeah, you just have to do that. You have to focus on things, and you can't get caught up in getting too excited that you lose. What your job is to do. And a lot of times those guys see stuff on their own, but a lot of times you can't tell. And we're on those binoculars, and we're trying to figure out who made a play. And Chuck's really good, and so most of the time he can do stuff himself. But it's a pretty interesting deal. And it's a pretty interesting deal. Chuck get a little excited up there. He'll get a little fired up too now. I don't like to get hit or punched on the arm or anything either, or slapped on the back. So I want to try to please the voice of the Razorback.
Yeah.
Quinn's pretty laid back. He's not going to get too fired up. I mean, he gets excited. He wants the Razorbacks to win, but he's much more even keel. You see that quarterback in him. He's cool, calm, and collected under pressure. And, me and Chuck are up there bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, see, Clay and I have worked with Chuck over the years, and Clay can attest to it. We know what that look is like, don't we, Chuck? When from Chuck, Clay. I mean, And Z, I bet you've seen that look when something doesn't go right during the broadcast. You know what that's like now, don't you? Between basketball and football, when there's trouble, right? I mean, you know the look now at this point, right?
Well, yeah, for sure, Tommy. Yeah. Or just you don't even have to see the look; you can just feel it coming through you when he's a little upset. Or in basketball, I don't know. I think I've done 4 years, I guess, of baskdon't with him. We're sitting down there by the court, and so he may get mad inside in the mic, but you don't want to show that quite as much.
Yeah, you might be on TV in the background.
You might be on TV,
exactly.
But up there in the booth,
let her rip.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
but
what I've seen, Z, is that during a break, that's when it happens. And I've heard him jump somebody in the studio in a faraway place, and I mean he cuts them a new one. I mean, it is sharp and it is on target.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at what he does, and he's a perfectionist.
Yeah,
he wants everything called right, and that's where I feel I wouldn't say pressure, but I don't want he's on all the sound bites, all the highlights, all the hype videos, everything that the university does, and if we have a long pass down the field, and I say it's Burks and it's not Burks, and he calls out Burks because he's not sure either. then that ruins the whole clip, you know. And so he wants to make sure he has everything right. He studies, you know, the pregame warm-ups, making sure numbers, trying to figure out if there's any number changes. He's thinking of every detail, big and small, and it's pretty good. He wants to do it the best he can, and that's why he's really good.
So clearly, your job is very important to the whole operation. Do you have a title that goes with your job?
No, I don't have any titles anywhere. I don't have any titles there. No, I'm the spotter for the football broadcast.
Yeah.
And that's my side job. And of course, I work. You know, I do the color analyst for basketball, and then I work here. I've been working at the Razorback Foundation since January.
Yeah,
so I just do a little bit of everything.
I was thinking specifically just for the football broadcast. I mean, you're the spotter. I think we need to get you the title of chief spotter. You know, like Garrett Lewis is the chief meteorologist, or Darby Bobby is the chief meteorologist. I think we need to talk to David Shoemaker or someone over there at IMG, and we need to get you elevated to chief spotter in the booth.
Well,
I think you have got enough experience at this point that just simply being referred to as the spotter, Z, is not enough. I mean, chief spotter, I think, is where we need to go
that's
with this.
Well, I appreciate you making fun of me. I'm
no, I think that you have pointed out something that I think is very important. All of these highlights, your role is very critical, because you're right. If he says Burks or he says Knox and it's Burks because you put your finger in the wrong place, the whole thing's fouled up. Your role is very important.
A lot of times, he can see it himself, but there are.
No one's making fun here.
We're
just having fun.
It, but we have a good time with it, and there are some stressful moments, and it's in how you handle stress and how you deal with it, and if you stay professional, and if you or if you go crazy, so everyone, it's been fun. It's been a much funner season already this year, obviously, than last year was the first year I'd ever done it, and it was a little bit tough. I enjoyed getting to go to the games and still be a part of the Razorbacks, but obviously it was tough when we only won 2 games, and now it's like a whole different thing, and it's just so fun. Now, we don't travel with the team. Of course, we ride that bus, and I guess that's my new title that Chuck likes to call. Chuck or Quinn or somebody calls me Director of Operations. Or maybe it's David Shoemaker calls me that, because I'm always trying to figure out where we're going to stop and eat, or where we're going to stop and get gas, and what's going on. So that's just my nature. I like to know what's going on and what's next. And they give me a hard time and call me. In football and basketball, you have a Director of Operations, and I've done that job in basketball as well. So I do a little bit of that on that bus.
So I'm told that the bus trips home, that the critical aspect is that everybody gets in their bunk, closes the curtain, and they're out, except for you, and you get up in the navigator's seat, and your job is to keep the driver awake all the way home, and you talk to him the entire trip home. Is that not true?
That's the director. Yeah, that's one of the roles as Director of Operations. I definitely did that when we came back from Starkville. Most of them climbed in bed, and there's 9 beds on this, and they have a little curtain you slide, and it's a sleeper bus, very, very nice. It's a celebrity coach is what they call it, very nice. And I just wasn't sleepy for one, and I was like, shoot, this isn't that far of a trip. I'll just stay up. And I went up there and sat with the bus driver, and we stopped and get fuel, and me and him talking and hanging out. He's got his name's Eddie. He's driven all these rock stars and country music stars, and he's got a lot of stories. And now the last trip we had to have 2 bus drivers because of their hour limits. We drove down there to Auburn. We were there, overnight for the game, and then we had to come back. But he had to have help because he could have done it fine, but he had to have help with the laws of drivers, so much time in a certain window. So that other driver was up there a lot. He kind of messed up my deal. But hopefully, when we go to College Station, we'll have just 1 bus driver, I'm hoping, so I can sit up there a little bit more. You can't count on it. We get tested too. We get tested every week, so it's not till it's a couple of days before the trip that for sure you're getting to go. Because if you test positive, then you're out. And so you're out about 10 days. So far so good. All of our people have passed.
Matt Zimmerman with us here on the Morning Rush. Matt, you sit next to Quinn every single game, and I picked up a thing or two as far as football stuff from Clay doing this show for quite some time now. What have you learned as far as football knowledge and just the intricacies of the game from Quinn Grovey?
Well, he sees the games a lot different. He sees everything. He's seeing all 22 players and what they're doing. He's got a good eye for stuff that doesn't happen that, maybe could have happened. A play will be over, and he'll say, hey, so-and-so, after his second cut was wide open, and that's something the rest of us don't see. And then you look at it on the replay, and sure enough, after the second cut, that guy was wide open. If the quarterback could have had a pause, he'd have hit him, and it would have been a touchdown. He sees things like that. And, of course, he was in some big-time games here in the late 80s up through the early 90s. And, he's the last conference championship we had, he was the quarterback. And to me, that's unbelievable. Back in those days, we were competing year in and year out for Southwest Conference championships. We won 2 with Quinn here, and it's hard to believe that and this isn't a testament to the staff now because they just got here. But, since 1990, we hadn't won a football conference championship, and that's time. It's long overdue. And so, Quinn is a very smart football person. He could coach. He could teach. He's been in the business world. He's been corporate America now. He's at Razorback Foundation. He's a very, very well-rounded person. His dad was military. He grew up in Duncan, Oklahoma, and he's a total package.
Coach, we're about a month away from college basketball starting. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of these early practices at all, but I'm sure you've got thoughts on Coach Musselman's team. What's your outlook on this year's basketball season? I know COVID's certainly going to have its impact on basketball just like it has football.
Yeah, that's the worst thing is because, there would be a whole lot of games packed out in Bud Walton Arena that, now we don't know how it's going to all go down with the virus. But I was over there, I think, Tuesday. Coach Musselman's always generous to me and letting me come watch practice. And I don't try not to wear those guys out because I was on the previous staff, so I try not to be over there every day. And I just go over there every once in a while. And maybe it's just me sitting there. I don't know. But them guys, they the last 2 times I've been in there, they make all their shots. And they really shoot. That's drill work. I didn't get to see any scrimmaging the other day, but they shoot so well. And when you walk in there now and you see the team, you're like, whoa, this looks like this is a big team. They look sometimes like how Kentucky looks sometimes or how Kansas looks sometimes. And they've got, and when you have a 7'3" guy and you got 6'9" guys, 6'8" guys, and they look good. And, strength coach Dave Richardson's done a good job with them. And they got good size to them. And they look athletic. They look strong. They look like really good basketball players, and I really like them. And man, I was watching Moses; he was so good, and he's just so in drills. He's just so dynamite. I mean, he's so skilled. He's smooth. He's fluid. His shot's beautiful. Everything's repeatable, kind of like Isaiah's was. And he does so many good things out there. He just has. You can tell he is an instinctive basketball player that's highly skilled, and they look good. Vance Jackson looked good the day I was there. As did Justin Smith, transfer from Indiana, looked good. I mean, he's jumping. He barely even looks like he's putting any effort out. And he's flying through the backboard. Freak athlete. He's got that explosiveness, kind of like a Michael Qualls does. They're different kind of jumpers, but he's more of a strong, physical jumper, whereas Qualls is just that long, lanky, freaky kind of jump. But they both get way up there higher than other people do. And it's going to be an exciting basketball season for the fans, and it's going to be a fun season.
I think a lot of people are excited. And you mentioned Justin Smith, Coach, has same vertical leap as Michael Jordan. So anytime you're mentioning the same breath as him, that's pretty good. Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. Tell the folks I said hello, and we'll catch up with you next time.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks, Tommy, and I'm always more respectful about officiating when I'm around Tommy because he's a good official. And he gives me a hard time, and I always appreciate that.
I was just playing earlier with you on the.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry, Z.
And no, you're good. And Ty, I'm glad you got to go back to Hattieville/St. Vincent last night. And like I said earlier, that makes me feel a little bit closer to home myself.
He went to the Morrilton Drive-In and had a double, Coach. A double.
I didn't know anybody could eat a double.
I didn't either.
So big, Tommy.
Yeah.
But that's good food. Coach Trent tipped it at Morrilton. He's in Morrilton Drive-In about 3 times a week. I'm surprised he's not as big as the house.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend off.
Okay, thanks, guys.
See you.
Appreciate you having me on.
Always good to catch up with Coach Zimmerman. If you ever passing through, like we're talking about Morrilton Drive-In, I guarantee it's worth the stop.
It's the truth. It's the real deal. It's on point. Is that what y'all say in your age group? It's on point, or is that gone? Is that too old now?
Little old. I would say it slaps. It hits different.
Fire is that gone now?
Fire works.
Fire still works.
Fire.
All right.
Get away with that.
Fire. All right.